Today, I write another page in the Jesus diary, my diary. I felt contempt in the form of spit. It wasn't an act of war. It was a cry from a wounded soul, disguised as an insult. He didn't know me, and yet he spit in my face. Not because he knew who I was, but because he couldn't bear what I represented. Sometimes, it's not what you say that disturbs people. It's who you are in silence. That moment froze time. The crowd stopped. Those who were ready to applaud me fell silent. Those who followed me took a step back, and I remained. The warm liquid ran down my chin, and with it, layers of pride still inside me began to fall away. Because it's not easy to be rejected by the ones you came to love. It's easier to accept nails than words. Easier to bleed than to be ignored. But I looked at him, and I saw more than an aggressor. I saw a broken man, a soul screaming, and I knew that moment would become a page heaven would write. With fire, the afternoon was stifling. The air was thick, as if even time itself resisted moving forward. The sun scorched the skin, but inside me, it was my spirit that burned. We were walking through a narrow village. The houses, made of stone and dust, kept their windows shut. The smell of old bread and sweat hung in the air. Children hid in the corners, curious but afraid. Some looked at me with admiration, others with suspicion. And then there was him, the man with hollow eyes and a tense mouth. His fists were clenched before he even saw me, as if his pain had recognized me before his mind did. I stopped to speak to a blind man sitting by the roadside, and that's when he approached. His steps were heavy, and when I stood, he placed himself directly in front of me. His eyes burned, and then it happened. Fast, fierce, a spit straight into my face. And for a moment, the world stood still. Even the wind held its breath. The bitter taste ran down my face. My eyes closed, not out of fear, but out of compassion, because right there, in front of everyone, I felt a pain that didn't come from his mouth, but from his soul. He spit on me, but his eyes trembled. Something inside him was waiting for me to react with anger, to humiliate him, to say something sharp. He wanted confrontation, not because he hated me, but because he hated himself. He needed to be hurt, to justify the pain he already carried. But I didn't give him what he expected. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't turn my face. I simply looked, deeply, and what I saw was more than insult. I saw abandonment. I saw a child hiding inside a man. I saw a heart begging for an answer. The crowd was waiting for my reaction, my gesture, my words, but I simply took a step toward him. He stepped back. Fear filled his body, but I didn't touch him. I only lifted my hand and wiped my face with the edge of my tunic. And I smiled, not in mockery, in welcome. And in that moment, something inside him broke. His shoulders collapsed, his fists opened, and he fell to his knees. He began to cry, not because he was rebuked, but because he was accepted. For the first time, perhaps, he saw a love that doesn't strike back, that doesn't answer with fury, that simply remains. Those who stood nearby began to move closer. Some held stones in their hands. Others, wide-eyed, waited for my command. They wanted to see the righteous rise against the unjust. They wanted to see justice. But I remained silent. I knelt before him, and I embraced him. He trembled. His body was cold. His tears were warm. And all around us, the world fell silent, because that gesture spoke louder than 1,000 words. I didn't heal a disease. I didn't cast out a demon. I didn't perform a visible miracle. But something inside him shattered. And that kind of healing is the one heaven celebrates most, because it's the rarest of all. He tried to speak, but I placed my hand gently on his shoulder and said, "You don't need to explain. You're already forgiven." And then he collapsed into sobs. The crowd watched, confused. Some were moved, others scandalized, because they didn't understand. That love is not about who deserves it. It's about who chooses to give it. And I chose to love him, right there, in the moment of the insult, in a place of shame, because it's easy to love those who honor you, but to embrace the one who spits on you, that's where love is tested. That day, I understood something even heaven hadn't told me, that the purest kind of love is the one that doesn't wait to be understood, that forgiveness isn't about the other person changing. It's about your refusal to carry the poison they try to leave in you. I discovered there is no stronger defense than a heart at peace. No answer louder than a silence that still loves. And so I didn't explain. I just let the silence write its own sentence. In my Jesus diary, that a single act of tenderness in the middle of chaos can change more than the most passionate speech. And that sometimes a spit can be the beginning of salvation. He spit in my face, and in that very moment, he found his true face, the one that pain had hidden, the one anger had distorted. And I found something in me, too, a kind of love that doesn't retaliate, that doesn't shield itself, that doesn't demand. It simply loves. And in that love, I came closer to the one who sent me. Because God doesn't impose himself. He remains. He endures. He embraces. And that day, I didn't win an argument. I gained a brother. Today, I don't want you to remember a miracle. I want you to remember a gesture that silenced an entire village, that broke a heart once hardened, that taught my own followers that power is not found in the loudest voice, but in the hand that reaches out. I didn't come only to raise the dead. I came to awaken hearts. I came to teach that love is not repayment. It is surrender. That compassion is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. And now I ask you, what have you been holding inside you that no longer deserves to be fed? What pain have you turned into a weapon? What wound has become your poison? Today, I allowed myself to be offended, to show you that true love does not protect itself. It gives itself away. And you? What is still keeping you from loving the one who hurt you the most? I didn't say anything else. I simply let that moment become part of something eternal. In my Jesus diary, if this page from my diary spoke to your heart, leave a like. If you know someone carrying too much pain inside, share this with them. And if you want to keep watching each page of this story unfold, subscribe. There is still so much I have to reveal, not through shouts, but through gestures, through silence, through love. What's on your screen right now might look like just another video, but there's something inside it that will impact you deeply.